So I tried going plant-based for one whole week, and I want to share my experience with you guys, whether I liked it or not, if I had any problems, and whether or not I want to try continuing this plant-based lifestyle. Guys, a little bit of context or background. Ever since the middle of quarantine, I've been trying to be a lot more health conscious, just really fix up my diet. I just want to be a lot more healthier, and overall my diet just needed a lot of work. Even though I was working out and exercising, my diet wasn't really the best, so I knew I had to change it up a little bit. And one of the changes I did was cut down on the meat intake. So normally I would have meat in basically all of my meals except breakfast, and then I cut that down to where I would have meat only either every other day or every other 2 days, and it just worked really well for me. I didn't miss it at all, and I felt better. But I was slowly getting introduced to this world of veganism and eating a plant-based diet. Mainly, number one is because I stumbled across this YouTuber named Natalie Matthews, and she's a vegan bodybuilder, and on her channel she just talks about basically how she got into bodybuilding and how she built all her muscle just eating plant-based foods and cutting out all meat and dairy in her diet. And just watching her videos really inspired me, because I personally did not think that it was possible to get any type of muscle through eating a plant-based diet. I definitely think that there's this misconception that you need protein from meat to get any type of muscle. That is definitely not the case, and I've learned that there's a lot of vegan bodybuilders out there who've grown all their muscle from just simply eating plant-based foods. Another great show or documentary that also pushed me to trying this plant-based lifestyle is the Down to Earth documentary with Zac Efron. And Zac Efron. I know some people have mixed opinions on this show, because obviously Zac Efron isn't an expert in nutrition or health. But what I love about the show is that he talks about his own experiences and compares that to the people that he meets across the world and what's really working for them, how people around the world tend to live longer, what their diet is like compared to people who aren't having these really long and healthy lives. So even though he definitely doesn't claim to be an expert, his friend, who I totally forgot his name, is a health guru who knows a lot about health and nutrition. And of course they bring a lot of other people on the show who know a lot more about this topic. So I think it's a great one to watch, and I also think it breaks a lot of myths that we have concerning diet and nutrition, and how just having a lot of whole foods in your diet is just generally better for your health and also the environment as well. So I wanted to jump in and show you guys what I typically eat in a day to kind of give you an idea of what like a vegan or vegetarian kind of diet would maybe look like. Right now we are starting with one of my favorite go-to breakfasts. It is the smoothie bowl, and I think the difference between a smoothie bowl and a regular smoothie is that with a smoothie bowl you want to use less milk and frozen fruit, and that way it will give it the thicker consistency. And you want to keep in mind that if you leave this out for like a couple minutes, it will melt, so try to eat it right after you make it. Another thing I love to do is to warm up some peanut butter and kind of drizzle that on top, which I kind of forgot to do this day, but overall it's still really good and one of my go-to meals in the morning. Next, we're going to make, I'll call this a medley of veggies, but it's kind of like a Buddha bowl or maybe nutrition bowl. We're starting with high protein tofu, and we're just going to kind of soak it in some barbecue sauce or like kind of marinate it, but obviously you can do this overnight. Here I'm just leaving it out for a couple minutes because I just didn't really have time for that. I'm going to chop up these are the Japanese purple potatoes, and if you guys know an easier way to cut potatoes in half when they're uncooked, let me know. I just put these face down on a baking sheet with some parchment paper, and then I put it in the oven at 375 for about 45 minutes. The potatoes are going to be about 45 minutes, while tofu doesn't take as long. I think the tofu is pretty good after like a 25 minutes or 30 minutes in the oven. Next, we're going to make a chickpea salad, and this is super easy to make. All you do is just basically toss in a bunch of veggies in a bowl. Tomatoes, corn, I added some onion, a little bit of cilantro, and micro broccoli. I think that's what it was called. I then just added a whole lemon, squeezed that on top, and then added some salt and pepper to taste, and just made sure to mix it all together. And then after all my items were done cooking in the oven, I just went ahead and plated everything. I added some sauerkraut, a little bit of fig on the side, and that is the lunch I've been having lately. Super delicious, super yummy, and really nutritious. And then one of my favorite meals that I've been having lately, honestly, if you try any of these recipes out, this one you need to try. It is the jackfruit al pastor tacos. And ever since I tried this out, honestly, this is one of my favorite recipes to make, and it's super easy. You just shred up the jackfruit. I added a little bit of onion, and then you kind of just want to mix it with some barbecue sauce, and literally that is it. All you do is fry it up. You could throw some cheese on it in the pan, and it's literally the easiest taco to make. It looks very meaty, super yummy, and just literally one of my favorite vegan recipes. With this one, I didn't have any vegan sour cream, so I just used regular sour cream, but I am on the hunt to find a vegan sour cream. And then one of my favorite sauces right now is the sweet and spicy habanero that literally goes perfect with tacos, tortillas, and quesadillas. So I do think people get a little confused when I mention that I have like a plant-based diet or lifestyle. So basically when someone tells you they are plant-based, it just means that majority of their diet consists of plant-based foods, veggies, fruits, nuts, things like that. So the difference I think with plant-based and veganism, or people who are vegetarians, is that people with the plant-based diet or lifestyle, some of them still have meat and dairy in their diet, while others completely take that out of the equation, but it only takes up about 15 to 20% of their diet, and the rest of their diet is going to mainly consist of whole foods. So I think that's the main difference with plant-based eaters, is that they still have the option to eat meat and dairy if they choose to do so, but at the same time they try to minimize eating those type of foods as much as possible. Personally for me, ever since I started trying to go plant-based, I have completely cut out meat and mainly dairy. I normally don't have any type of dairy in my diet, but one thing I can name is having sour cream with my tacos. But other than that, I've cut out meat and dairy out of my diet completely, and honestly it hasn't been much of a dramatic change because, like I mentioned before, during quarantine I have been slowly cutting meat out of my diet, so it wasn't really like a full 180, and I think that's why it made it so easy for me to cut it out completely, because I guess I was already on that track without even really knowing it. And yeah, I am very new to this lifestyle. I am learning a ton. Basically, I'm trying to make sure that I am on the right track and still eating balanced foods throughout my day. I know when you go fully like vegan, there are some vitamins that maybe you should be taking because you can be lacking if you're not eating a certain type of like veggie or fruit. So vitamin B is, I guess, something that a lot of vegans can lack if they're not having like really balanced foods. So I have included these into my daily routine, just taking one of these each morning. So let's talk about how I'm feeling after that 1 week and like 2 days, I think. To be honest, I feel pretty great. I don't miss eating meat or dairy, and it hasn't been hard for me to switch to this plant eating lifestyle. Yeah, one day I decided that I wanted to try it out, and to be honest, I used to think that people who were like vegans or vegetarians would miss out on a lot food-wise, but now that I have switched over, I feel like I've been missing out a lot on these super nutritious foods that are just overall really great for you and good for your body. So I know this lifestyle is really new and fresh for me, so obviously take whatever I say with a grain of salt because I am no expert, and I just wanted to share with you my experience and how I feel. And yeah, I definitely want to continue this for as long as I can. As far as I know, I don't think I'll be going back to a non-plant-based diet. So yeah, I'm not making this video to try to make any of you go vegetarian or vegan, but maybe this can open your mind into maybe introducing a lot more whole foods into your diet and just trying to choose the healthier options when you can. But anyways, I hope that this video somewhat helped you out. If you liked it, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for weekly videos, and I hope to see you guys in the next one.
The sun, with every possibility, you're making all of me undone. Not so sure yet, but I think that I'm